Welcome to the Nightmare Zoo. Subscribe and never look at the forest the same way again. Viewer discretion is advised.
Why you should never whistle in the woods in December. The unanswered whistle. The fire was dying, and the temperature had dropped below zero. It was my last night on patrol deep in the Northern Reserve, checking deer feeders before the big December storm hit. The snow was 2 feet deep, and the only sound was the crackle of the embers. To keep the silence from pressing in, I absent-mindedly put 2 fingers in my mouth and let out a long, clear whistle. It was a habit my old man taught me, a sound of comfort in the isolation, a human sound. I waited for the faint echo to return, but it didn't. Instead, about 50 yards to the northeast, I heard it back. It was a perfectly pitched whistle, identical to my own, but it was too close. I hadn't even finished the last puff of steam from my own breath. I dropped the iron poker. I stood dead still, every muscle coiled. There are 2 great rules of the forest, passed down from every old ranger I ever met. First, never go off trail in a blizzard. Second, never whistle back. I stared into the thick black curtain of pine trees where the sound came from. I waited. Seconds stretched into minutes. The silence returned, but it was heavy now, loaded with expectation. Then, a new sound. Scratch, drag, a heavy footstep being pulled through the snow, stopping after every third step. It was circling my small cabin, keeping just out of sight in the deeper shadows. I quietly grabbed my rifle, checking the chamber. I backed up to the window, pulling the curtain back just a centimeter. The outside was a sheet of moonlight and snow. There was a shadow, about 7 feet tall, lurching at the edge of the clearing. It didn't look like a bear or a coyote. It was too slender, with long, spindly limbs. It was watching my window. I held my breath. That thing had responded to my whistle. It knew I was human, and it was waiting for me to break the second rule to call out, to make any sound that might tell it where I was. I pressed my face against the icy window pane. The shadow didn't move. It was perfectly still. Then, from its throat, came the sound again. Clearer this time, and impossibly sweet. Hello? It wasn't a whistle. It was a perfect imitation of a human voice. The kind of voice you'd hear from a search and rescue team. It was the mimic's lure. I clamped my hand over my mouth, terrified that I would breathe too loud. I stayed silent for the rest of the night. When the sun finally rose, the snow was undisturbed, save for a single deep impression in the shape of an unnaturally large, 5-toed track that led away toward the untouched mountain peak. I packed my truck and never set foot in those woods again.